say. But those two examples of those and their innovative organizations, they literally had the same issues, in that industry for women. And I'm like, I've never gone out with any major like feminist campaigns or anything in industry because I've always been in male dominated industries and it didn't work. So I didn't bother.
Yeah.
But when faced with these two clients who were coming to me for the reasons that I am doing, the work I'm doing, I'm like, but it's so clear you're presenting the business challenge. But you're not willing to do anything.
I think, for me, I'd call them out on it and say, I'm just really intrigued as to why would you spend the time and have me spend the time if actually you're not going to do anything about it, whether that's with me or not.
Do you think they see us as a problem? Do you think they see women as a problem to be solved and sorted? Because I just think we're like the biggest opportunity. Like we're like this untapped opportunity. Yeah, we need figuring out and we need to like assemble in a different way. But like there's so much like all around me, there's just so much leadership. I'm like, they have to work so hard to get anything through. Like it's ridiculous. Like it's no wonder so many just like, they don't give up, but they kind of fizzle out and they go to the side on a project. They just don't. Just doesn't. There's no container for it to land.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the end we vote with our feet. I run a female leadership program, and I had a really amazing young woman on the program, and I'm talking about a major food manufacturer. Okay, the girl was just brilliant, and I just thought, oh, she's amazing. She's young. She just had a baby. And she's really, really hungry, really, really switched on. And I was thinking, God, if I was half as switched on as her, her age, I think I would have done amazing. But I saw her struggle. So she was in their talent pipeline. So she'd been like hooked out.
Yeah.
And she was working in their sales division, first of all. And she'd like almost reached the top. And then they said to her, well, you're not going to get that director position unless you know more about the business. Okay. So what they did was they put her on a development program for 2 years, and they put her out in different parts of the business. So like she went right out into manufacturing, and that's where she was like working in manufacturing, and she was doing a brilliant job. The director position job came up in the sales division. So she went and had a conversation with them about it. And they said, oh, well, you've been out of this now for 2 years, so you couldn't possibly come back in to a director position. And she said, well, look, that is my passion. That's what I want. That's what I want. What do I need to do to get there? And they said, come back in at a level lower than what she was in there in the first place in order to get back on the pathway. And this is what they do. So guess what she was talking to me about? Finding another job. So they've actually invested all that money in the talent pipeline in working on trying to figure out who these women were in their business, what they wanted, the trajectory they were going to put them on, put them out into like a development opportunity, only to then say, when you come, when something comes up, you've got to go backwards. And I've seen it all over the place. And this is where she's like, well, up yours, basically. Excuse my French, but so she's voted with her feet, and she's very young and she's got very disheartened. So I have no idea. And, it was, I like to call it the human remains department, because that's what I feel like, that's how they treat you. But, and the human remains department have done nothing about it. And these guys at the top of the business are able to treat someone like that. They would never do that to a male candidate.
No.
They just would not do that.
I'm just letting it sink in. Like I am. Yeah.
I think that's maybe what you're saying then, what women tend to do then is they go, well, if I'm not allowed to climb that mountain, then I'll make my own mountain.
Yeah.
And that's maybe the answer to some extent, is to just If you can't join them, beat them. What's really interesting is that, during the, I think it was the 2008 financial collapse, when the Icelandic banks all went bankrupt.
Yeah.
There was one financial institution that had not overgeared, over-leveraged, that had led to some of these banks were lending at 49 times their value. And there was one bank that had not done that. And it had 2 female founders and shareholders. That was it. And they had seen the bandwagon of all this activity and they'd gone, something doesn't feel right here. We're not doing it. And a lot of people were very critical of them. They were saying, look, your returns are crap because you're not doing this and blah, blah, blah. And they were the last man standing, so to speak, last woman standing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I suspect what may happen is women will go, well, that's fine. Okay, we'll just create our own ecosystem then. We'll just create this over here. It's full of women. It's for women customers. We're going to do it our way. We're going to still stick to the capitalistic model. We're going to play by those rules, but we'll modify them to suit ourselves.
Yeah.